What is the most porn-like situation that you have been in? Copied from my response on another post like this. Sexy girl next door who also happened to be my best friend's sister. I was hanging out with my friend, and when he went into the bathroom, she walked in, sat in my lap, kissed me, and said when he is asleep, come to my room. I did. And it was awesome. We are married now. Happy endings happen, folks. Tradesman here. True story, I was working away when the young and attractive housewife appears in front of me wearing nothing but lingerie. I'm in total shock, this kind of thing does not happen. She said nothing, just stood there with a sexy smile on her face. You probably want to know what I did next. Unfortunately I'll never know either, as her husband pulled into the driveway and she ran away. It was awkward talking to him when he came in, like shaky stuttering awkward. Pizza delivery. Hot woman answers door wearing flimsy silk pajamas, like shorts and a tank top. Wanted to pay with a bunch of leftover coins. Drops on floor. Bends over. I can see everything. So I just stand there like an idiot and wait for her to pick up my goddamn money. I had no more deliveries anyway. I cleaned pools in college and had a customer's wife come out to the pool in a little black dress and start talking to me about how her husband is out of town for a few days and she could really use a man to help her with some things inside. I was so oblivious at the moment that I said something along the lines of, oh, I'm sorry ma'am, I just clean pools. I don't have much experience with home repairs. Talked to a girl on Tinder for a week before meeting up. She comes over and we get to it about 30 minutes after the fact. After she busts out some body oil she just happened to have with her, she starts deep throating the hell out of me. I tell her to stop or I was going to come. She grabs my cheeks and just pulls me into her face. Next thing I know, there's an entire finger in my ass and I'm unloading a throat pee into a girl whose last name I don't yet know. In-house service call to fix a PC. The owner was my age at the time, pretty, and we chatted it up nicely. Subject came to tattoos and piercings, somehow she was covered, and I explained that I too was covered, just nothing visible as some clients are turned off by them, and I have to clean up nice. She inquired, and I told her a few, including nipple. Oh my god. I just got both of mine done. Look. Rips open her shirt a la every little boy's fantasy, and yes indeedy, them double D's were swole from lifting them barbels. Nothing sexual, I played it cool, and nothing happened, but it was still probably the best house call ever. Back in college I was delivering pizza, and was walking around this apartment complex trying to find the right address to drop the pizzas at. This woman, about my age, jogged by me in tight workout clothes and gave me an obvious up down as she jogged past me. She was kind of extra bouncy when she jogged past me, like she was trying to accentuate her jiggly, lady parts. Do women do that? I was a bit oblivious, although enjoyed the view, but then I realized she had stopped jogging and was standing behind me a few feet, jog bouncing in place. I turned and looked at her because I thought she was going to say something. She did the sexy lip bite and a weird sexy wiggle, then jogged away, leaving me confused, aroused and pizza laden. And no, it wasn't an extra large sausage pizza. Friend asked me to set up her internet. She had another female friend over. I show up and they are both sitting on her sofa. Dinner is on the table. She asks, do you want to hook up first or eat first? We all had a laugh. As a pizza delivery guy, this cute black girl who was a regular answered the door in purple lingerie looking great. She invited me inside to pay for her food and took me to the kitchen to get her money, which is not how you normally pay the delivery guy. I would've made a move, except on the way to the kitchen we walked by 4 or 5 dudes just sitting in the living room. Felt suspicious. I was at a semi-professional gangbang party doing my first double penetration with a girl. I was one of the 2 guys. When we changed the position slightly, my balls were hanging lower and the dude below her slipped out of her and hit me in the balls with his It hurt for a short moment. We laughed and went back to f***ing. A past girlfriend was straddling me right after foreplay, but before we could start T-sex, her phone started ringing, and for some reason she decided to pick it up. As she talked with her friend, I was reminded of seeing some girl on the phone porn once and thought it was an idea worth trying out. I'll never forget her face. She was trying to voice her disapproval through her eyes, out of fear of her friend noticing that something's off. Her friend had quite a lot to tell her, so it was proper hold the moan stuff. Made out with a lesbian. Drunken mind figured I had special powers of enlightenment. Turns out she was on Molly. I got home from the grocery store one Saturday night and my female neighbor, who had just come home from a party, offered to help carry my groceries in. When I was done putting them away, she just stood there in the middle of the kitchen, staring at me playing with her hair. Being awkward, I lied that I had to go back outside, so we did, and she went home. The next morning, I realized she probably wanted to go to Smashville. Staying at a friend's house, he asks me to wake him up at 8 if he's not already up by then. Turns out he sleeps naked with full morning glory. I admit I was tempted. He's pretty attractive. I was at a friend's house in the mid-2000s. She had 2 of her friends over. We ordered pizza and were having a few drinks. One by one, the 3 girls disappeared to the upstairs bedroom. After a while of me being alone and getting bored, I went to that room. When I opened the door, they were already going at. I stood there in AWW. One of the girls noticed me and called me over. What a night that was. In college, a group of people would always come over for a movie night every Friday. Tons of people, all friends, all kinds of fun. Somebody invited a new girl, and as it was time to wrap things up, people were headed out. She said, I just need to use the restroom. Whatever, people need to pee. 5 minutes and a lot less people later, she walks out naked, grabs me by the member, and says, I'm hungry and horny. You're going to fix both. Okay, here goes. I was younger, 20 years old. Went to this 18F house to hang out, since she just moved in. Her roommate is also home, 19F. One was a pilots instructor, 19F. The other worked with me at a local theater, 18F. This apartment was freshly moved into, and both these girls are beautiful, but don't have like any stuff. We go into T's, 18F, room and the tension is f***ing high. Just literally sexual anonymous galore by her. She even calls in her friend to the room to hang out, and they are both bending over and doing all these moves in front of me and on each other, just toying with how insanely sexual it was. Me being, of course, me, is so f***ing nervous and can't believe that this may happen, that I just basically get to wrapped up and freeze up. So 18F is staring at me to make a move and I basically just didn't. Will always remember that as the biggest f*** up of my life. Worse than any jail or financial issue or hospital visit, haha. Shared house I used to live in. I once came downstairs to make a cuppa to find 2 women bondage tying a 3rd naked girl in my kitchen. I was completely English. I offered them a cup of tea, then left without comment. In my fraternity room, wake up from door getting pounded on like a herd of drunk elephants. Open door, girlfriend comes in drunk with another girl I don't know, whispers I hope you like her, and then they start going to town on each other. After they did their thing for a few minutes, they pulled me in there as well. 'Twas a good night for young Irish, yes it. So, I'm gonna cut a lot of details out, but basically I serendipitously met 2 Swiss girls who were going on a tour of America. They were deliberately couch surfing. Didn't have a place to stay. They stayed with me for 3 days. The 3rd day they decided to reward me. Together. They were sitting on either side of me on the couch, but then start making out over me. Something that I thought didn't exist outside of porn. The flip side is I've been the loser guy who doesn't get to have the threesome in the porn too. So I guess I'm pretty even. Worked front desk at a hotel. Worked overnight shift once, and this lady asks me for this person's room number because her phone is there, which I can't give her due to security reasons. She keeps asking and has her other friend come up and then offers me $20 if I tell them. I still say no, and she goes, isn't there anything we could do to change your mind? At first I was thinking no way she means what I was thinking, so I said no again. She then goes, what if I suck your d? Or what if we take turns sucking your d in case you prefer blondes? They were both gorgeous too, but still said I'm sorry, can't do that. I like my job, still work there, but still really regret saying no. Man, I've had a few. Mostly with the same ex-GF. She was a real freak. I remember being at her house as a 17 to 18Y/0 watching a movie with her head on my lap on the couch when she slowly started giving me head. After a few minutes her stepdad walked in the kitchen, which is attached to the living room, and starts making some food or letting the dogs out or whatever. I wasn't really paying attention. She didn't stop for a second or even hesitate at all. I've got memories of banging her on phone calls, in the bathroom during family get-togethers, in the room with friends who were also banging. The list goes on. Even after we broke up we still met each other semi-regularly for some good times. The first time I went over there, after breaking up with her, she was coming back from a party she didn't enjoy very much. As soon as we got to her room she sat on top of me, took her shirt off, and shoved her tits in my face, unprovoked and without warning. Still a memory I pull up when I'm feeling lonely in the shower. LMAO. My ex-GF invited her ex-GF to sleep with us in bed after we partied hard that night. I lay there all night in bed imagining what could have been, but never did. Nothing. Should have. Used to be a cable guy. Lots of women opening the door in lingerie, casually dropping that their husbands are out of town, and even going so far as to flag me down when I was at a neighbor's house. At a swingers party, 15 or so people f***ing and sucking things in the living room, 6 more groping one another in the hot tub, various naked people doing other naked people things throughout the house. I have cool friends. I had a girlfriend in college who lived in a triple room, i.e. with 2 roommates, in the dorms. Her and her roommates had hired someone to build them a loft bed, so there was basically 3 twins on the loft, and then they set up a couch and TV area beneath. She liked to have me over and fool around after her roommates were asleep. Never sex, but oral and hand stuff and all that. The next school year, after we had broken up, she was an exchange student from Sweden and was returning home. I'm not making this up. I ran into one of her friends who seemed to know all about me. Turns out that her roommates didn't have boyfriends, so they would encourage her to have me over and fool around so they could pretend to be asleep and watch us and masturbate. Definitely felt weird to find that out and see these 2 girls around campus. It was a very small school, for another 2 years. Of course in the porn version one of them would have been my stepsister, and we would have had a foursome.